Yo, what is going on, guys? This video is going to be me telling you guys and giving you guys 5 tips on preparing and going into the playoffs with the right mindset. Y'all ready to get into it? 3, 2, 1, let's get it, let's go. Boom! We are officially 4 days away from the fantasy playoffs beginning, guys, and I'm going to be making a video to help you guys prepare perfectly into going into the playoffs with a good mindset. I've come up with a list of 5 tips you guys must consider and must keep in your head before actually officially going into the fantasy playoffs. As the playoffs starts, I will be making more videos regularly to help you guys compete well and consistently in your playoff matchups, guys. But these 5 tips you must consider right now as you watch this video. So without further ado, let's go straight to this list. The first is count your schedule, guys. From week 21 to week 23, you need to count how many players are playing in your fantasy week. You need to be fully equipped and fully aware that your first round matchup could definitely be harder because you have less players playing, or instead your second round is going to be harder, or your third round, because it is important to know which week you have the advantage of in numbers of players playing. This tip could definitely be crucial into your upcoming tips I'm about to give you, because tip number 2 is that you must prepare for those matchup numbers with the waiver wire. For example, if you know that week 1 you have less players playing than most players, you have teams playing 3 games, that means you need to be fully equipped to use the waiver wire to your benefit. That also leads to me saying that when I say utilize the waiver wire, it means you must have available waiver wire pickups before going into the playoffs. For example, if your league has a maximum of 40 pickups per year, I recommend you going into the playoffs with at least 6 moves, which makes 2 moves per week. What I'm saying is that right now, save your waiver wires, make sure you have enough waiver wire picks to use in the playoffs, because picking up a person in the playoff, picking up a person on Saturday night to get them on Sunday morning could definitely be really crucial in your playoff matchup. Tip number 3 is to set your lineups early, guys. Yes, I'm gonna say set your lineups early, guys, because in the playoffs, it is not a time where you want to miss setting your lineups. Especially because there will be days where players play at 12 o'clock. You might sleep in all the way to 1 o'clock and miss some lineups. But I say, guys, on Monday morning, set up all your lineups throughout the week and do a thorough check every single morning just to make sure that all those lineups are checked. This will put you ahead of the schedule to do more research and just to be consistent with your active lineups. Of course, this tip is not 100% needed to do, but if you just want to prepare and be ready for what's coming, setting up your lineups early is a way of showing that you are ready and potentially in and focusing on the playoff matchup. Tip number 4 is something you really need to take action on if it occurs to you, but choosing the perfect matchup. I'm going to give you an example to explain this tip thoroughly. For example, if you are number 4th in your fantasy league and you are tied for 4th with at least the 3rd place guy, the 5th place guy, and you've done a really good analysis, and the player that's going to be in 6th place is going to have a really good schedule, have all players playing 4 games, and you're in 3rd right now, sitting with players playing 3 games, that means, guys, choosing your first matchup is really crucial. And especially right now, I'm making this video on a Thursday. It might be not a good idea to purposely lose your week this week in order to play somebody either 7th or 8th in order to have a good first round matchup. This tip is only for those that are put in that situation, but sometimes, guys, losing this final week before getting to the playoffs can really help you in the playoffs, because in the first round matchup, you want to play the perfect player that has less players playing, or at least equal to your players playing. So specifically, keep this tip in mind, guys, because this is really crucial, and it's something I plan on doing right now as I make this video. And if you're in my league right now watching this video, sorry guys, but that is my plan right now, to purposely lose and drop down in the standings to play the perfect matchup in the fantasy playoffs. If you have any questions on this, message me or give me an email or DM me on Instagram, guys, and I'll surely help you with your fantasy basketball pre-playoffs. And the 5th tip is going to be throughout the whole playoffs, guys, is to avoid injuries. I'm going to say this now, avoid injuries, guys. If you have a player getting injured on Tuesday, saying he is day-to-day, you miss 1 week, drop him immediately, guys. In the playoffs, you need players playing, of course, unless he's obviously your superstar player, which you should not do that. But for example, a mid-round player getting injured out for the whole week, I recommend you drop that player right away, because in the playoffs, you cannot risk losing. Because if you lose a matchup because you don't have the numbers and because you have less players playing because of injury, that will not help you in the case in the fantasy playoffs. Even if you drop the player, you might be able to get them back because you have waiver wire moves, but just my tip out there is that do not risk losing because of injured players. And that rests up the list, guys, on the 5 tips of going into fantasy playoffs. Thank you so much for watching the video, guys. And if you are new here, welcome to Easy Buckets, guys, and join the fam by clicking the subscribe button. But other than that, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, and just, guys, good luck in the fantasy playoffs. I'll be here the whole time if you have any questions on Instagram. But just, take it easy out, and I'll see you next time. Woo!
That's Easy Buckets.